I want to share something with you today that I have been thinking about a lot lately, and I really hope it helps you see some of the patterns that show up in relationships a little more clearly. I have been working with people for so long now, listening to their stories, their heartbreaks, their confusions, and I keep seeing the same things come up again and again. So please stay with me here, because what I am about to tell you might just change the way you look at love, connection, and even yourself. Have you ever been in a situation where someone looked at you and said, "There is something wrong with you, not me"? Maybe they pointed their finger and accused you of doing exactly the same things they were doing, but somehow you were the problem and they were innocent. It is a strange thing, is it not? This is what we call projection, or in simpler words, moving the blame away from ourselves. It is like holding up a shield so we do not have to feel the sting of our own mistakes. And here is what I have learned over the years, especially when it comes to women who do this, though men can do it too. When a woman is constantly pointing out your flaws, your errors, your missteps, it is usually not really about you at all. It is actually about what is happening inside her own heart. She is using your mistakes, your imperfections, as a way to hide her own. Because if she can focus on what you are doing wrong, she never has to stand in front of the mirror and ask herself the hard question, what do I need to change about me? Now, let me tell you about something else I see all the time, and this one is really, really common. It is what I call the great distraction. I work with so many couples, and I notice that when people are stuck in a really unhealthy, toxic, dramatic relationship, that relationship becomes their entire world. It swallows up everything. Every conversation, every thought, every worry is about the relationship. The drama becomes so loud and so constant that it drowns out everything else in their life. And that is not an accident. It is actually serving a purpose, even if the person does not realize it. The chaos of the relationship becomes a way to avoid looking at all the other things that might be going wrong. She stops talking to her friends as much. She stops calling her mom or her dad. She does not go out and try new things. Her whole emotional world becomes wrapped up in this one person, this one messy connection, and it acts like a blanket that covers up everything else she does not want to face. Let me paint a picture for you so you can really see what I mean. Imagine you have a friend and she is getting married. Now, in our culture, when someone we love is getting married, we understand that this is her time. This is her moment. We give her space to talk about all the little details, the stress of planning, the excitement, the worry, the decisions about flowers and dresses and guest lists. We listen to her vent. We ask her how we can help. We let her take up what I call the emotional space in the friendship, because planning a wedding is a big, heavy, emotional job. That is just how healthy friendships work. You give and you take, and you know when it is someone else's turn to be the center of attention. But now, imagine another friend who is stuck in a really unhealthy, unstable relationship. Even when her friend is trying to share her wedding plans, this woman cannot stop talking about her boyfriend. She is upset because he has not texted her back in 2 days. She is crying because he said something mean to her last night. She is spiraling because she does not know if he really loves her or not. And she brings all of this heavy, chaotic energy into a space where it does not belong. Now, on the surface, you might think, well, maybe she just has bad timing, or maybe she is just really struggling right now. But what I have learned is that it is deeper than that. This woman is using the drama of her relationship as a distraction from her own life. Deep down, maybe she is terrified that she is not as far along in life as she thought she would be by now. Maybe she looks at her friend getting married and feels a pang of jealousy or sadness or fear that she is being left behind. Maybe she does not have the money she wanted to have. Maybe her career is not where she hoped it would be. Maybe she has not dealt with the painful relationship she has with her own parents. All of those things are scary to look at. They are hard. They require her to sit with uncomfortable feelings and ask herself tough questions. But if she stays focused on the chaos with her boyfriend, she does not have to do any of that. She can pour all of her emotional energy into that one relationship, and everything else gets pushed to the side. And then, later on, if she looks back and wonders why she did not finish her degree, or why she did not lose the weight she wanted to, or why she did not build the life she dreamed of, she has a ready-made excuse. She can just say, well, I was in a bad relationship. That is why I could not do it. It is an easy out. It keeps her from having to take responsibility for her own choices and her own life. Now, let me tell you about something else that I think is really important for you to understand. Sometimes, a woman stays in a bad cycle because it actually feels like home to her. I know that sounds strange, but stay with me. This happens on a level that is mostly unconscious. She might not even realize she is doing it. But if a woman grew up in a home where there was chaos, or coldness, or emotional distance, or even abuse, then that is what her nervous system learned to recognize as normal. Peace feels strange. Stability feels boring. Kindness feels suspicious. And so, even if she meets a man who is good and kind and stable, she might not feel attracted to him. Not because there is anything wrong with him, but because her system does not recognize that as love. Her system recognizes chaos as love. She is drawn to the drama, the highs and lows, the push and pull, because that is what feels familiar. That is what feels like home. This is why you sometimes see women leave a good man when they are younger and then try to come back to him years later. And a lot of men get confused by this. They think, oh, she is just older now and she wants to settle down. She is using me for stability. She did not want me when she was younger and prettier, but now she does. And sometimes, yes, that is part of it. But often, the truth is more complicated. When she was younger, she was not healed yet. She was still caught in the cycle of seeking out what felt familiar, even if what felt familiar was painful. A peaceful, loving relationship felt weird to her. It felt wrong. It did not match the template in her brain for what love was supposed to feel like. So she ran from it. But as she gets older, as she goes through more pain, as she maybe starts to do some work on herself, she begins to realize that what she thought was love was actually just trauma repeating itself. And that is when she might start to be attracted to the kind, stable man she rejected before, not because she is using him, but because she has finally started to heal. You would be really surprised how many good, successful men get rejected over and over again. People love to say it is all about looks, and sure, physical attraction matters, but it is not the whole story. I have worked with men who are handsome, fit, successful, who run multiple businesses, who have their lives together, and they still struggle in the dating world. Sometimes it is because they need to work on their social skills or their emotional intelligence, but often it is not about them at all. It is about the women they are trying to date. Think of the dating pool like an actual pool of water. The healthiest, most emotionally available people get scooped up quickly. They find a partner and they leave the pool. So the longer you stay in the pool, the more likely it is that you are going to encounter people who have a lot of healing left to do. If you are someone who has worked on yourself, who has gone to therapy, who has read the books and done the inner work, you are going to be a challenge to someone who has not. You are going to hold up a mirror to them, and that mirror is going to reflect back all the things they have been avoiding, and that is terrifying. So they run. They choose the person who lets them stay small, who lets them stay broken, because that feels safer. Another huge reason women stay stuck in unhealthy patterns is because it gives them someone to blame. Being with a man who treats her badly means she can always say that the relationship failed because of him, not because of her. I see this all the time, especially with women who have been stuck in this cycle for a long time. Imagine a woman in her 50s or 60s who is still single. She sees a friend her age get remarried, and she feels a little spark of jealousy. But instead of being honest about that, instead of admitting that maybe she feels a little lonely or left behind, she tells herself a story. She says, "Oh, my friend is so desperate. She just cannot be alone. She does not even care about her kids. I am staying single because I am focused on my children," even though her children are grown adults with families of their own. This is denial. This is a way of protecting herself from the truth. The truth might be that she is lonely. The truth might be that she is scared to try again. The truth might be that she chose an unhealthy man all those years ago because of her own wounds. And now she is afraid that if she tries again and it does not work out, she will have no one left to blame but herself. If a bad man leaves her, it is his fault. He was the problem. But if a good man leaves her, then what? Then she has to ask the really hard question, is there something wrong with me? And that is a terrifying question to face. It takes so much courage to be accountable for your own life, to look at your own patterns, to admit where you have made mistakes. We are all works in progress. We all have our demons to face, our wounds to heal, our patterns to break. And that work is hard. It is so much easier to just stay in denial and keep blaming someone else. So where does all of this start? Who are these women who get stuck in these cycles? Well, often they are women who grew up with fathers who were emotionally distant, or absent, or cold. They learned early on what it feels like to want love from someone who cannot or will not give it. And so, as adults, they are drawn to men who make them feel that same way. They are trying to rewrite the story of their childhood. They are trying to finally win the love they never got from their dad. But of course, it does not work, because you cannot heal a childhood wound by repeating it with a different person. Others grew up in homes where there was neglect or criticism or even abuse. And to these women, pain feels normal. It feels like love. Calmness and safety feel foreign, and foreign feels dangerous. So they run from it. They sabotage it. They push away the good men because deep down, they do not believe they deserve them. And finally, some women were just raised to believe that they are not worth very much. They have incredibly low self-esteem. Think about it like this. A man who works on his career, his health, his friendships, he does that because he believes he is worth the effort. He believes he deserves a good life. But if a woman does not believe she is worthy of a good life, she will not even try to build one. Subconsciously, she does not think she deserves the happy ending, so she does not look for it. She settles. She stays small. She accepts less than she deserves because she does not believe she deserves more. And here is the really painful part. These women often give the kindest, most emotionally healthy, most attractive men the hardest time. They are terrified of what it would mean to actually be with someone good. They feel like they are not pretty enough, not smart enough, not worthy enough to be with you. And instead of facing that fear, they run. They choose the chaos. They choose the familiar. They choose the pain because at least they know how to survive that. I really, truly hope that sharing all of this with you today helps you understand the hearts of others a little better. And maybe, just maybe, it helps you understand your own heart too. Because we all have our patterns. We all have our wounds. And the only way we get better, the only way we break the cycle, is by being brave enough to look at ourselves honestly, to do the hard work, and to choose differently. So please, keep taking care of yourself. Keep doing your work. Keep choosing growth over comfort. I believe in you. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I will see you very soon.